This is Kerry Graves with the Second Wind Podcast, and you are listening to a Fraser Chronicles podcast here on the Fraser Chronicles Podcast Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of a 6-part series here where I am talking about leadership. And here on part 2 today, I'm going to be talking about successful leadership and what successful leadership is. As we all know, there are leaders out here who call themselves successful in their leadership style. They uh, have a lot of attributes and they have a lot of characteristics. But every time you look around, they're always busy. Too busy for you. Too busy to talk about your goals. Too busy to talk about your plans. Too busy to talk about the things that are a necessity to you. Maybe they're successful, but they lack people skills, right? They lack different types of skills. And to many people who are in leadership, everyone in leadership thinks they're successful. Everybody in leadership thinks they're great. Everybody in leadership thinks that they hold the key characteristics. But sometimes we find out those same folks are people who are not persons. They don't interact with people. So, I want to get into this and I want to talk about what makes someone successful in leadership. Again, the question, what makes someone successful in leadership? And the first thing I want to say is in order to be successful in leadership, you have to understand the people around you. Many times we are faced with people who don't understand us, who don't understand diversity, who don't understand ethnicity, who don't understand a male, who don't understand a female. And the crazy part is that in leadership, you're going to encounter people from different backgrounds, people from different genders, people of different ages, people from different eras, and so much more that you have to understand the people around you. Now, we all can say that we work if that's what we choose to do, or if you own your own business, or if you're in your own house. Um, you come in contact with many people, and sometimes you're not always in the leadership room, meaning you're not at the top, right? So you're an employee. You're someone who works a job, and you go into your job with your daily activities and your daily routine. And there are times where you need time off. There are times where you're sick. There are times when you need to um, you need to make time for your family. So if you have someone in leadership who does not understand that my family comes first, then you're going to have issues with those individuals. Those are going to be individuals who will get upset when you take time off. Those are individuals who will complain that you are always off, that you're always making time for everything but the job. And in order to be successful in leadership, you have to understand the people around you. And when we talk about understanding the people around you, we have to understand their motives. We have to understand what they like, what they don't like, and all of these great things. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but again, understanding the people around you, and I will expound on each one of the individual topics that I do bring up here in what makes someone successful in leadership. The next part is communicating with the people around you. I think this is great to say because there are many leaders, CEOs of companies, many directors of corporations, and many managers and supervisors who don't talk to people. They don't communicate with them. They lack communication skills, but yet they call themselves successful. And in order to be successful in leadership, you have to communicate with the people around you. Another one is trusting the people around you. All right. No one wants to be or work with somebody or be a part of a corporation or organization where people don't trust you. So trusting is a big one. Trusting the people around you. Inspiring people around you. I think that everybody in leadership should be inspiring. If you're not inspiring people, uh, maybe that's something that you want to change. Maybe that's something you would want to put into your arsenal of things when you're having your leadership discussions and you're talking about maybe taking the company from where it's at now to new heights. Inspiration, inspiring people. The next one, supporting your team, supporting those you are connected to, supporting them you are connected to. And again, I don't want to get too far ahead because I'm going to expound on each one, and I think that each one of these characteristics can be utilized in every leadership. And I believe my last one is patience, having patience with people, having patience with people. This is big. This is humongous. This is big. And when I say that, having patience, there are people in leadership who they don't have patience with people because of the organization style, the organization type. Everything's always do right now. And I'm going to talk about that one. But let's jump back into what does it mean to understand the people around you? What does it mean to understand the people around you? And I'm glad that you're tuning in. And before I move further, I want to thank all of the listeners out there, near and far, everyone here in the United States and everyone international, for listening to Fraser Chronicles podcast. We hope that you will continue on this journey with us on leadership. As again, this is only part 2 of a 6-part series, and this is again part 2 of a 6-part series. So again, we want to thank you for tuning in, and again, hope that you continuously stay on this journey with us here on leadership. Again, so diving into understanding the people around you, knowing their names. Knowing their names, as simple as knowing their names. You know, when you are a leader, you have to understand that people do not just want to be a number in an organization. They want you to know their name. They want you to say their name. If I'm the CEO of a business and I have meetings all the time with people and I never get to know their names. They're coming to meetings, they're working in the organization, and I don't know their names, there can be issues. Because when someone comes to tell me someone, I'm like, who is that? Right? So knowing their names is important. This is important in leadership. When you know their names, you can also move to know their strengths. Right? If I know that Miss Barber is a great assistant in my office, and she answers the phone great, and she's able to take down messages, and she's able to give me those messages in a way that no one else can. That's a strength. If when we go to meetings and let's just say I have an assistant named Darnell, Mr. Darnell. Mr. Darnell has the PowerPoints. He has the numbers. If we're an organization full of numbers, dealing with numbers, and we're dealing with sales, or maybe we're an organization that deals with business to business or business to customer, right? And he has all of these charts out of this month. This is how many customers we had, and this is how much money the company made, and this is where we're going to projections, right? Those are great strengths to have around you. And when you have great strengths around you as a leader, you should be developing them to continue their strengths, right? And then we should also know helping them with their weaknesses, because everybody in the organization has some type of weakness, right? And I say this, and I don't want to sound like a negative person, but you have a lot of older people in the workforce who don't know about computers. You know, they didn't grow up in the era of the new computers that we have now. They grew up in the era of typewriters, so they understand a typewriter. So when you're trying to get them built into the new technology, they might not be as strong there. So if they're not strong there, then that's a weakness, and that's something that, as an organization, as a great leader, successful leader, it's not moving them out of the organization. It's saying, okay, hey, you have a weakness with this. Let's develop that weakness to make it a strength. Let's develop it, and let's move forward so that you can be an asset to the company and not a liability, right? And that you can stay on and you can stay with the organization and continuously thrive in this organization, right? That's what great leadership is. That's what successful leaders do. Okay. And the next thing I want to move forward is saying is knowing the individual's morals and values as well as yours. As a successful leader, right, you're developing great characteristics and skills. So the morals and the values of me. My morals is that I do everything I do to God, right? In the eyesight of God. So if I'm dealing with the customer, I'm going to talk to that customer in a way that is pleasing to God, that is pleasing to the customer, that is pleasing to the organization, right? If there's an issue, I go to an individual's house. Let's just say I go to an individual house, or I'm working with the company who wants to advertise with Fraser Chronicles, and I'm using this as an example, and they say, hey, I want this package, right? And we talk numbers, and all of the numbers come out, and my thing is, if there's a number that's set, so let's just say hypothetically, we're using this as an example. Let's just say one of the packages is $100. Let's just say, all right, and the person says, this is what I want to do. So we go through the package, and this is what they want to do, and then the next thing you know, they say, well, the package says it's $100, and then I go, well, it's $150. That moral and that value is out the window because now I'm doing something wrong. If it's $100, it's $100, and then if it's taxes, of course we'll discuss the tax, but we shouldn't be in a place where we're not morally sound and we're not valuable sound. All right. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're valuing everybody in the organization. We want to make sure our morals are great as well across the organization as a whole. And that comes with being a successful leader because you're training those individuals and you're developing those individuals. The next part is communicating with the people around you. And I want you to think about this, when we talk about communicating with the people around you, how many times have you went into work and I'm not talking about your friends, but I'm talking about the boss, the CEO, the manager, the GM, the whoever that's above you doesn't talk to you. They don't communicate with you. When they see you, if they see you, it's all about, oh, I need this done. But they never say good morning. They never say good afternoon. They never say good evening, everyone, or good evening to you, right? How would you feel? Is that communicating? No, that's not communicating. That is neglecting the people in your job. That is not being a successful leader. That's not leadership at all. Because if these same folks who are your supervisors, when they go to these public meetings or private meetings with whoever these organizations are, they're going to say the greeting of the day, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, good evening, everyone. And they're going to talk and they're going to communicate. So why can't they communicate with you? To be a successful leader, there has to be some form of communication. The first communication that everybody should have is the good morning. If we're all in there in the morning, good morning. If you don't see me to the afternoon, good afternoon. If you don't see me to the evening, good evening, right? Or any type of thing. Hello, how are you doing today? All right. And when we're communicating, we also want to tell people what they're doing great in leadership. A lot of times leaders don't do that. They don't even tell you when you're doing a good job. You don't know if you're doing a good job. You know because you're doing your job, but how do I know if my job or the way I'm doing my job is correctly? Yes, they might have trained you, right? But how do I know that this is what they want done? Yes, I'm sending up reports. Yes, I'm filing papers. Yes, I'm answering the phone. Yes, I'm taking messages and all of these great things. But as a leader, to be successful, talk to your employees, talk to your children, talk to your family. Let them know what they're doing great and what you would like for them to keep doing, because that's a form of communication. When we communicating can be gifts, right? So let's just say hypothetically, I'm in an organization and we're incentive based, right? We give a lot of incentives, and let's just say for whatever reason, we have more listeners, or we have sold more books than we sold in other months, or we're streaming on more platforms, and we're creating a subsidy, right? A monetary subsidy for the organization. And the individuals who are working hard and putting all the hours in would like some of that. They would like some bonuses, right? So that could be a form of communication. Gift cards could be a form of communication as well. It does not always have to be me saying something, it can be me giving things, right? As a form of communicating. uh, what do they like to eat out? Knowing your individuals, company individuals, everybody that's in the company, what do they like to eat at? Maybe give them gift cards to their favorite restaurant. Maybe take them all out for a promotion ceremony if that's what the company does, right? There are so many things you can do to be successful in leadership, and there's more things that come with it. And my next thing with it is finding out how the day is going for the people around you. Some people are having bad days. Some people have gotten bad messages that, hey, someone's sick, or the mom or their dad is not going to live the next few weeks because they're going through chemo, right? So communicating, continuously just checking on individuals it's a great thing. And it's one of the tools that I learned in business to keep doing these things, communicating with people, because it helps with retention. A lot of companies are going through this. Oh, people come in and they're leaving. They're leaving because of something. Most people leave companies because of the leadership, the management, the supervisors, the CEO, the whoever at the top. They're not leaving because the job is always hard. They're not always leaving because the pay is not always top dollar. But majority of the time, it's because of the lack of leadership, the lack of successful leaders in leadership in the company or the organization. So, what do we move to next? We move to trust. Trust the people around you. Trust that people you're bringing on board, leaders that you're bringing on board into the organization or to the company, is able to do the job. Trust them. Trust them. You have to train them in order to trust them. You cannot always just expect because someone came here with experience that they're going to do what you want. Because you have to understand that they came from a different leader in a different organization and they're coming to yours. And you want them to do it the way you would like it. Maybe you're not the same as the other boss that they had or the supervisor or the leadership team that they had. You're new. So you have to engage in training and trusting. And trust them. Don't micromanage them. A lot of people do not like the micromanagement of a lot of leadership. They just don't. I don't even like micromanaging. I like to tell someone to do something. Hey, my editing team, go edit. Boom, they're editing. I'm not going to check behind to make sure that they're editing. I'm not going to do those things because that's micromanaging. That says I don't trust them, right? So trust them that they would do it, because at some point you want them in leadership, right? And you want them to be able to do those things. If they're looking for another promotion in another company, in an organization, you want to be able to say great things that, hey, yes, they can do this. Yes, they can do it. Yes, they have the capabilities, because here we create leaders in our organization. And when they go to that next organization, they're able to lead. They're able to do the things that are necessary to be successful in that next role of leadership. This one is a big one. The next one is a big one to me, and that is inspire. Inspire. You should every day wake up to inspire somebody. When I remember as a transportation supervisor, I was so inspired. I was a young supervisor. I had older individuals that were the employees. They were under me, under my leadership. And my thing is, I didn't look at them as old people who wanted to stay where they were at. My goal was always to find out, what is it that you want to do and how can I help you get there? That's successful leadership to me. Talking with them, counseling them, just making sure that they don't need anything, making sure that if they do need something, I'm able to provide it, right? Help them with the help. And I inspire them because I always tell them how great they are and how great they would be in leadership. Because I was never the type to just be the supervisor and hope that they stay under me. I would hope that they would be supervisors, whether in a transportation organization or supervisors in a whole nother organization. But at the end of the day, they see great leadership. Number one, great leadership, and that they would take that great leadership and make it a part of their leadership styles, whether it's with their families in their homes, whether it's on the job, right? Whether it's in retirement, trying to show others how to get to retirement, right? And when they have great leadership capabilities and they're learning from other great leaders, they can always reach back and it becomes a mentorship. And they're asking questions and they want to be great. And when things are not going great, they're asking you, what can I do to continuously be great? How can I get out of this slump that I'm feeling? Because they've seen that you are great and inspiring and inspiration, and they see that you're living it and you're not just saying it. It makes a difference. And that is what retains people in the organization. That is what keeps people coming back to work, even if the pay is not great, even if their life is in shambles. They're coming back because they're inspired to be better than they were yesterday. They have plans for 2 years and a 5-year plan that they can actually say, this is what I want to do because I'm so inspired by you. And I know that you, as my leader, you're going to lead me to the promised land. Leading people is a small portion. Inspiring people is a big portion because it takes a lot of work to inspire people. And the reason I say that is because you have to make sure that you're living that way. Not just telling people how to be successful, but you're living the same way you're telling people to live. That is by inspiring. People are inspired by you. They're inspired by things. They're inspired by someone believing in them. You have to believe in them. Believe in their vision. Believe in their goal. Believe in getting them where they need to be. As a leader, and I'm going to say this before I move on. As a leader, it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to make sure those individuals don't become complacent and that they're able to promote themselves, or the organization is able to promote them because you know their capabilities. Anybody under me wants to get promoted, I'm excited because when they hear about my name, they say Mr. Frazier has great individuals under him that we want. And that's great for company, that's great for corporations, that's great for everything that is out there. The next one, support your team. I can't say this enough. Support your team. A lot of times when people get in trouble on a job, there's no one to support that individual. They get in trouble, they're late, they're rolled up, they're whatever, and no one supports them. As a leader, you have to support them in the good and you have to support them in the bad. Now, and I'm saying that because as a leader, I made sure, and I'm not trying to just toot my horn, but I'm telling you things that I've done and I've seen it work. When people are doing great, you support them. And when they're doing bad, you support them. Well, how do I support them when they're doing bad? Supporting them is saying, hey, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's see what's going on. Maybe they're having family issues. Maybe they're having marital issues. Maybe they're having home issues. Maybe they're having work issues. And they need someone to talk to. And as a leader, you're their support. Maybe they're late. Sometimes it's not about just writing them up. It's saying, hey, let's talk. What's going on with your tardiness? You're tardy. And I just want to sit down and just see what's going on. Not because I want to hem you up. Not because I want to fire you. I want to see what's going on because maybe there's something I can help. Maybe if I could change the time, maybe 8 o'clock is just too early for you. You have kids. Let's move you to 8:30. Let's see how that works out. And it's still allowing that individual to see I'm supporting them and they're supporting the company and the organization as a whole. These are what successful leaders do. It's not always about just the firing. Anybody, you can put anybody in a leadership spot to fire. That's not hard. That I'm telling you, that's the easiest thing to do in leadership. If you want to be that person. But the hardest thing in leadership is to take care of the people around you. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people when they're in leadership, they're looking for their own promotions. They're not looking for the promotions of people under them. They're not looking for helping those up under them. They're not looking for that. They're looking for their own promotions. But you have to take care of individuals in order to be successful in leadership. Support your team by giving them the necessary tools to move forward in their endeavors in the organization or whether it's outside your organization, right? And when we say that the necessary tools, what are you putting into those individuals from your leadership style? Are you putting, hey, you're great, you have amazing talents, hey, I see more in you? Or are you saying, well, hey, I just want to stop by and just, hope that you don't need anything? Or are you saying, hey, let's talk. Give me about 5 minutes of your time. Let's just talk. Let's just see how everything's going. Right? Supporting your group also is taking your group out. I know that when I was a transportation supervisor, I would take the individuals out. My section, we would go out and we'll go do things. Or I would buy gift cards and just bring them to work and just pass them out. Not even tell them I'm bringing them, but just because I wanted those individuals to feel worthy. Because in the workplace today, yes, you get a check, but an organization and a corporation and a company do not always make you feel worthy of anything. And in leadership, you have to make people feel like they're worth something because they are worth something. Because they are worth something. They're getting up to help this organization build into whatever this organization is going to be. And you have to give them something back besides a paycheck all the time. Yes, to give them their paycheck, but give them rewards so that they can continuously to drive on and continuously feel that they're helping the organization, not just here as a number. As I said in the beginning, no one wants to be a number. Never hold people back. When you're supporting people, never hold them back. Never hold them back. If they come to you and say, hey, there's this job I've been looking at and I was just seeing how could you help me get to this job over here? Or how can you help me with my resume? Don't hold them back. Take time out. Successful leaders take time out of their schedule to help those in need. Make sure that they have the tools. Again, that's setting them up to make sure they have the tools needed to be successful. There are many people today who can look back 10 years and say, man, I didn't have great leadership. I didn't because they didn't give me no tools. They didn't give me anything to move on in life. They just work, and told me to make sure I was at work. If I wasn't, they wrote me up and that was it. They never sat down with me. They never knew my name, right? And this is why successful leadership is important. This is why it's important. Never hold people back again. Never be selfish. Just because someone has come into your organization and has built the organization to new heights and to new levels does not mean we hold them back for our personal gain. We don't hold them back. What we do is we help them move up and we ask them to help us train the next individual to be just like them or better. Right? That's what we want to do in leadership. And my last thing is patience. As I said, be patient with people. They're people. They're human. They're going to make mistakes. They're not always going to get everything right. They're not always going to do everything right. They're not always going to say everything right. They're going to come in sometime with their hands down. They're going to come in with problems from home. They're going to come in with the marital issues. Some people have been just divorced. They're not telling you. Some people have just lost their house. They're not telling you. It's a lot of things going on, and you must be patient with people in order to be a successful leader and in order to be the leader that people remember 10, 20, 30, and 40 years and beyond of great leaders. You must be great and successful at this thing called leadership. It's not just filling a seat. It is taking care of the people. That's something that our government does not do. That's something that we see our president not do. And that is take care of people without your agenda affecting those around you. So when we talk great leadership, when we talk successful leadership, these are the things that we talk about. Understanding people, communicating with the people around you, trusting people, inspiring people, supporting the people, being patient with the people. Successful leadership lies within the leader. That's where it lies. And if you are a leader and you lack these things, fix yourself. If you're listening and you have a boss who you know is just not just not doing it, maybe you need to sit down and say, hey, listen to this Fraser Chronicles podcast episode. And maybe you're saying, well, I want to be a leader, but I'm afraid. Being a leader is going in and doing what it is that's necessary to make the organization great by being great as a leader yourself. Don't tell people to do things you're not going to do. Do not tell people to do things you're not going to do. That is the worst thing you can do as a leader. Okay? And we're talking successful leadership here in part 2. And I want you to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself right now. Believe in your leadership capabilities. In order to be a successful leader, you have to believe that your leadership capabilities is going to pass and it's not going to fail. All right? So with that being said, before I close here, I hope that leadership, this leadership series is really inspiring you, and it's really motivating you, and it has helped you to determine how great leaders are supposed to be. Because leaders are supposed to be great. They're supposed to be the backbone of the organization, the backbone of the company, and they're supposed to be the backbone to each employee there. So with our next one, and now that we're at the end, I want to also make sure that you guys also understand that our show today was sponsored by Decal Worlds. And again, if you want to purchase a coffee, donated coffee to me, you can go and search buymeacoffee.com on the web, buymeacoffee.com on the web, search Fraser Chronicles, and you are able to donate. You can also check out our website, www.fraserchronicles.com. And you can listen to all our podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our podcasts are up there, from our first podcast to today's podcast. And it's up there. And again, I want to thank you all for being great listeners and being a part of Fraser Chronicles family. This is a family. Our next podcast will be dropping May 8th. That will be part 3. And that one is called Failing Leadership. Failing Leadership is. And we're going to talk about what failing leadership is. So today what successful leadership is, but we're going to also talk about failing leadership. I think in order to understand leadership, we have to understand what successful leadership is, what failing leadership is. And we hope that you, again, are inspired and that you will stay tuned in to Fraser Chronicles podcast. And I want to thank you again. I can't thank the listeners enough all around the world, man, that you are great. You're going to be great leaders. You're going to be great individuals in life. And to go out there and continuously build people up. We need more people in America building people up each and every day. If you're a leader, make sure this is some episodes that you're sharing with your employees and those around you. Again, I'm David, aka Preacher Man, and until the next episode, again, stay blessed. Stay blessed.